let's answer the question right now. What size bait do I use for my lake trout? Now, when people ask me that question, as a guide in New Hampshire, or even on my website, or I get a lot of questions in DMs, this is the lake I have up in Canada or out in Montana, what bait do I have? And what I tell everybody is, what is the main forage, or what I ask everybody, what is the main forage in your lake? Now, is your lake smelt based? Is it alewife based? Is it Cisco or whitefish? What is the majority of the forage in that lake, and what size is it? So what I do is I carry a wide variety of sizes of baits. I don't really think the color matters that much. That being said, I do sell a couple of different colors on benditfish.com. And I'll tell you how I break things up. I break up my tackle boxes into basically 3 different sizes: small, medium, actually small, medium, and large. They're just out of order right now. Small, medium, and large. And I sell them that way on purpose, because when I started fishing for lake trout, I was watching Clayton Schick and Uncut Outdoors or Uncut Angling and all these other guys up in Canada where they're catching 40-inch lake trout, where they're eating like 12-inch, 15-inch Cisco's or salmon. They're just massive fish eating massive bait. We don't have any of that here in New Hampshire. We do have big lake trout, or even in Vermont where I am right now. It's not as common. So I'll give you 2 choices. One, you can go around with a huge bait all day, like the 6-inch wing tube or a 6-inch normal tube, and literally search for one big fish or one really, really hungry smaller fish. Or what you can do is have a blast, which is today we're already at, I don't know, half a dozen fish, and I've only been here for like 30 minutes because I'm matching the profile of bait that's in this lake. That being said, let's go over what I use on a day-to-day basis when I'm guiding, even when I'm out having fun or filming how-to videos for you folks. So I carry a bunch of small baits with me. I'll show you my go-to is a swim bait. So I sell and make, I started making these because no one was making stuff around here. They were making them, but they were making them for crappie or bass that are like super, like the plastic is really wussy, so it would tear really easy. And lake trout just shred all plastics. They have teeth, that's what they do. So we sell a 2-inch version. We sell a 3-inch version. This is Pearl Glow, and I sell those in chartreuse as well, and pure glow in the dark. So that's my smalls, small and mediums. And my website is actually broken up into, I'll show you right now, it's broken into small baits, medium-sized baits, and big baits. That's based on your lake. So if you tell me you're in the Adirondacks over in New York, and it's a smelt-based lake, I'm gonna suggest that you guys go and look at the Winnie kit, which has all of my small baits in it, and the medium-sized baits. So that's the majority. I pair those with either a 1/4 ounce jig, chartreuse glow, or white, or a 3 ounce or a 3/8 ounce jig, which is also glow. These hooks are heavy-duty style hooks. They're either 2x strong, or they're just strong in general. Lake trout will bend one of those standard bass hooks right out. It's super frustrating. I'm actually having a guy custom make them for me, and he's actually modified the mold just for my jigs, just because it's hard to get big hooks into a little tiny profile. So that's what I would use for a smelt-based lake, or even tiny alewife-based lake. It's lakes that have tiny alewives or tiny bait. This lake has perch in it and a bunch of smelt. Next would be your medium-sized baits, which would be your bigger smelt or your bigger alewives, or just a couple-year-old minnows and stuff like that, like fall fish. We have the wing tube, which is 3.5 inches in both glow and chartreuse. And we have our standard, let me find another one. Your standard, this one's all messed up, but this is your standard 3.75 inch tube. And I pair those with a 3/4 ounce balanced tube jig. So see how the weight's almost even on both sides? That's for jigging, not for casting. Now you can put a normal jig head up in one of those things and it'll work. But if you're gonna be jigging a lot, especially with like the wing tube style that coasts down and glides all over the place, you wanna make sure you're using the right hook. So I sell all that. That's the medium size. And then probably my #1 seller for all those people out that have bigger lake trout, like Lake Champlain, we are selling 6-inch baits. So this is I call it a 6-inch, but this is a 4.75 inch hammer tail, just a glow-in-the-dark swim bait. And then we have a 6-inch glow grub. This one's really beat up. I'll show you a better one. 6-inch extended glow grub. Now this is a big bait when it's being ripped or being run to the surface, but it's collapsed when it's just sitting there in the water. So it looks small until it starts running, and then it gets bigger, and they just absolutely want to hammer it. Now that gets paired with either a 1 ounce or a 3/4 ounce jig head. Either both of them glow. These are non-lead, but they have heavy-duty 6/0 hooks that are 2x strong, and I've never broken one. They never bend out. I've tried to like bend them on a vise. They are just rugged. And then we just released, because people were really asking for it, the new 6-inch wing tube. So this has a, I don't have a hook out right now, but it's got a 2-ounce balanced lead jig in there, and this has got wings on it. You cast that out with a big, or jig that with a big rod, and that thing kind of darts everywhere. This is the biggest profile bait I make. It slays big fish like on Champlain or out west. People, I'm just releasing these now. I have not had anybody catch with them yet, because they're still all in shipping. They're still going all over the United States and Canada. So that's how I choose what baits to fish with. So right now we're on Lake Willoughby. It is a smelt-based lake, so we are fishing with small 3/8 and 1/4 ounce lures. That does take patience for it to sink down, but I promise you, when it does sink down, those fish will chase almost every time. So I'll show you, like this one right here. Got him. Smaller one. Super small. It's the smallest one of the day so far. Ow, hit me right in the elbow. And I wanted to pop him off at the side of the boat anyways. So we're gonna drop down again here. See if we can't hook up another one. There's a monster down there right now. And I don't think they want to hit this because the leader is too short. A couple different techniques here, especially for smaller baits. This lake probably has slimy sculpin in it, which kind of scoot along the bottom. Oh, he thumped it. And I missed it. Oh, he's coming back for it. Oh, ho, 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 ho. They're light biting today. That's all right. I'll show you this bait here in a second. It's kind of rigged wonky. I'm using 3/8 with a 2-ounce bait. 3/8 with a 2-inch bait. He's losing track of it. Got him. So many fish down there right now. It's kind of ridiculous. And they are feisty. They are feisty for sure. Feisty, feisty, feisty. Oh my goodness gracious. Relax. So this fish just burped on the surface here, so he's gonna let him try to run here and get some, burn off some of that greenness. Which when I'm expecting to lose this fish actually, maybe not. Want to make sure that rod stays bent. That's where the term bend it fishing comes from, is that bend of the rod. I don't say it very often because it's a little corny. Actually, it's a lot corny. I didn't really think of that when I came up with the name for the YouTube channel. Nice one, going back in. So quick tip, buy some of this Smelt Procure stuff. It helps them track this bait down. This is the new, it's not really a prototype jig, but this is a 3/8 ounce glow-in-the-dark jig head with pure glow. So this glows chartreuse underneath the water there, and then got that little bit of smelt on there. Drop that down and repeat. Now you might be saying like, oh, I got a bunch of little swim baits that I bought at Bass Pro, or I bought at the local tackle shack. That's great, but what happens is these fish will absolutely destroy standard bass swim baits. And the reason for that is bass swim baits are super soft plastic. Always check your drag. Are super soft plastic, so they have tons and tons of action. So we actually have to make our molds different. We have to use heavy plastic and a thin profile tail so it kicks but doesn't rip at the same time. So this plastic we use to make these things is heavy duty plastic. which prevents you from changing out plastic after plastic after plastic. It's a little more expensive to make. Ooh, you little bugger. And you can glow this stuff with either a UV light, which I'll put up a picture of a UV light here from just Amazon. They're like $6. You can use your cell phone too. It doesn't work as well because that's a LED light. Very crucial, especially we're only in 40 feet right now. This lake is crystal clear. I'm actually probably running way too short of a leader because I'm being lazy. That rod, I was hooking them up left and right, and that leader's a lot longer, so I'm sure that matters. We're gonna drop down, and we don't want the jig to hit the bottom of the lake. Here comes a big laker right now. We want to stay just above him. Oh, he's juiced. No way. Got a fish all over me here. So my jig's always right around the 5 foot mark today. Got another one coming up. Come on. Doing little tiny twitches here to make him a little more intrigued. He dropped back down again. That's okay. I try to get almost every fish that I catch on the chase. It's the most exciting way to do it. Ooh. Nope. And if I can't get them to chase, or if you have finicky lake trout, look at the summer playlist. So this is video 9, or actually probably 10 of the summer playlist. There's a video on how to catch finicky lake trout, what I do, how I change my techniques. This is one of them. And I'm doing small taps in the mud, not huge, I'm just lifting that jig off bottom and tapping it back in the mud again. That's it. Pow, pow, pow. And what will happen is they'll get irritated that it's kind of like just dying down there, and they'll just smoke it right to the bottom. And then I'll restart a chase. And then drop back down. And now this is just a waiting game. We have deep water to my left, and then it comes up, and then there's a shallow feeding flat up here, and there's actually a river that's coming in right now, which is bringing in nutrients and bringing in fresh water. And I think I know there's a bunch of bait up there, bait has been coming out from there on screen every once in a while. And one huge advantage to live scope over 2D is I get to see the fish before they see me. So I can react that fraction of a second before they see me. So I start running the instant like they're even in the area. Because I'm representing a bait fish, I want to start freaking out before a lake trout even sees me. That's the goal. What happens when I'm teaching clients is their reaction is just to stare at the screen a little bit longer and kind of like look and see what's going to happen. We want to react right before they're going to react. And I'll show you that here in a second. Got him. That's a bigger one. Oh no, he's going back down. He burped on the surface and then realized he could get some traction on his tail again and freaked out. It's a decent sized one. Ooh, there's a chunk right there. Good, threw the hook already. There's a decent sized one right there. Going right back in. Oh, that's got to be a rainbow. That's got to be a rainbow. Nope, another laker. And a big laker. Another big laker. My goodness. Yes, so there's a numero 8 on the same jig today. Same jig. There we go. So that's how you choose which bait for which lake trout, which kind of lake that you're fishing in. What is the normal size of the forage? Most of our smelt here in New Hampshire and Vermont and Maine are in that pin smelt 2 inches all the way up to 8 inches, which is huge. So that's why we have the 2 and the 3 inch. And then tubes are kind of a coverall, just because they mimic everything, and that's up to like 3.5, 3.75 inches. And then we have the big bait kit. Now I have caught Lakers with the 6-inch stuff in smelt lakes, but those are usually the bigger Lakers that you have to spend all day looking for or just come across. So if you were going to go into some remote place that you knew nothing about, there's no info on, you know there's lake trout in there, I would make sure that you bring one of each size, so a small, a medium, and large, or have the ability to chop down a large bait to make it smaller. I will chop down a 4.75 inch down to 3 inch because it has that big kick, but has a short tail because they're keying in on profile. That's what lake trout or lake char do. So if you want to get your kits or any of the other baits you see in the video here, click any of the links that you've seen in the video pop up about the small, medium, large size baits. If you want to learn more about lake trout, click right here. This is the whole summer playlist, and over here is just the general lake trout stuff. And I'll see you on one of those next videos.